Where I live, it's hot. Not only is it hot, it's humid. Hey love, so we're gonna jump right into the video. So, shit, I just dropped my damn cup. Per the title, we're gonna do an everyday makeup look summer edition. So for me, summer edition means no liquid foundation. We're going to do powder foundation. So of course, I'm getting ready to zoom y'all in so that we can do the eyes. So as always, I'm using my NYX eyeshadow base in the shade Skin Tone. I know, I'm really working on trying to find a new one because that's the only thing that I use. So I'm gonna prime both of my eyes and I'm going to go under the brow with this. Okay, for eyeshadow, I'm going to be using the Too Faced Born This Way and Sunset Stripped. And this is what she looks like. And I'm using this specifically because this is I read it the other day, Complexion inspired eyeshadow. So everything in here is like close to skin tones, which means you can use it for every day. So the first shade I'm going to take is Cocoa Glow, which is this shade right here. And I am going to go in my crease with it. Now taking that shade Black Sand, I'm also gonna put that in the crease just to deepen it up just a little bit. You do not need a lot of this because this could go from good to bad real quick. For my lid shade, I'm gonna go into the shade High Tide, which is this real light shade right here, and I'm gonna put that all over my lid. Okay, so this is what we look like so far. I'm gonna put a little bit of these. Are these shimmers? I should probably know that. I'm gonna take the shade Shell Yeah, which is this shade right here, and I'm gonna put a little bit on my finger and just dust it over like. It's going. The natural lighting is playing me at this moment. Now that's it. That's all for the eyes for the most part. So now I'm gonna add a wing liner. I'm gonna do a baby wing. For my wing, I'm gonna be using the Araceli Ojos Perfectos liquid liner in the shade Coffee. This is a brown liner. I wanted to use brown because black can be dramatic and I don't want this to be too dramatic because it's an everyday look. I wanted it to be real simple. So to make it look like we tried, but for real, it's like, girl, we just did a little something. One of these days, I'm gonna be able to do the wing on camera. I don't think that day is gonna be today. Cause I'm already adjusting my mirror, like I need to be okay. The liner is on. The wing, it's a little bit more than what I was going for, but you know how that go. You start off like, oh, I'm gonna do a baby wing, and then it turns into a full-on wing. Yeah. Now we're gonna move on to mascara, lashes, glue, all that good stuff. So for lashes, I'm gonna use these Ardell Wispies. Everybody should have a pair of Ardell Wispies. Why? Because you can wear them every day and you can glam them up a little bit. For mascara, I'm gonna use the Milk Makeup Kush mascara. The glue, I'm gonna use this Duo glue with the green writing. I've just been trying all the Duo glues for whatever reason. I clearly am going through something right now. Lashes are on, and see what I mean? It's just a nice natural lash. Now we're gonna move on to the brows. So for the brows, I use the Brow Stylist Shape and Fill Pencil in the shade Dark Brunette. And I'm not gonna fill these in too much. I'm gonna just kind of like outline them just to give them some shape. And then fill them in just a little bit. To set the brows, I'm gonna use this e.l.f. brow lift. If you wanna know how this works, my real thoughts about it, I have a whole video where I compare this one and the Anastasia one. I'm gonna leave it in the card. You should go watch it. And these are the finished brows. So that's it for the face. That's it for the eyes right now. So now we're gonna move on to the face. For primer, I'm gonna use the Tarte base tape. This is a hydrating primer. I'm gonna put this on my face. Even though we are using a powder, we still have to use a primer, because if you don't put a primer on when you're using a powder, the powder doesn't have anything to stick to, so it's not gonna last. Before I move on to concealer, I'm gonna use a corrector. So normally I would use the orange corrector by LA Girl, but this time I'm using a different one. This one is in the shade Almond. This has like peachy undertones in it already instead of that other one. So I'm gonna try this one today. And I'm gonna only put this in the corners. Now we're gonna move on to concealer. I'm moving on to concealer because I'm gonna use a liquid concealer that I'm gonna set really well, and then we'll go back onto the face. Because if I put that powder on, then that concealer over top of that powder, again, it's a no for me. It's gonna look a mess. For concealer, I'm gonna use my Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. Are we gonna focus? Hello. Okay. Now I'm in the shade Latte. Got this under my eyes. On my forehead, bridge of the nose, and tip of the nose. And then I'm gonna blend it out with a brush. Next, we're gonna set that concealer. I'm gonna use this Black Radiance True Complexion Loose Setting Powder in Banana. If a representative from Black Radiance ever seen this, Black Radiance is not the powder. This packaging, no ma'am. Let's revisit the packaging. Now I'm just gonna set everywhere I put that concealer. For our foundation powder today, I'm gonna use the e.l.f. Camo Powder Foundation, and I am in the shade Medium 330W. And I'm gonna apply this with one of these like flat top brushes, and then I'm just gonna apply this around the perimeter of my face and like under where that concealer is. So under here. I don't think I recorded that bronzer, y'all. Oh my goodness. Okay, all I did for the bronzer, I used two bronzers. The first bronzer was my matte bronzer. This is the Juvia's Place bronzer in the color Tan. I used this top one. And then for my second bronzer, I used the Wet n Wild Color Icon bronzer in the shade Ticket to Brazil, and that was my second bronzer. You see how we all are like glowy on the face. I can't believe I wasn't recording that. For blush, I'm gonna use this NYX Double Dare blush. I think I used this in my last video. Okay, now do not get carried away with this because this is very pigmented. I'm gonna use one of these tulip brushes and I'm gonna apply this very lightly. I'm gonna apply some right here to give me that like flush look. Just a little bit there. Boom. Our highlight. I love highlight, but I'm not gonna apply none because I really like how this looks. I'm really liking how this looks because we already got that like shimmery, so I think the highlight I just don't need. Moving on to lips. So for lips, I'm gonna use this. Oh wait, no, this is not the right one. I don't really give a fuck if I am just the only one. We're gonna start off with the NYX lip liner in the shade Brown. And I'm just gonna line my lips with this. I did my outline a little darker today, just so we can have a little blend situation going on. You'll see. For lips, I'm gonna use the Maybelline Super Stay Matte Ink in the shade Driver. This is one of my favorite nudes. I love this so much. Then we go on. Now, it's totally up to you. You can leave it like this if you want, but I'm gonna use a gloss. For gloss, this is the Estate Cosmetics Lip Icing in the shade Glazed. And I'm gonna add this in the center. Ooh. And I'm gonna give us a quick spray one more time of the Mario Badescu. I'm not even gonna use a lot of this, just a little bit, like a whoop. That's it. And I'm gonna fan it down just a little bit.